The first one I'm going to talk about is the wheelchair components questionnaire. This one simply says, is it broken? This gives light on the current maintenance condition. When you do studies of 30 or more wheelchairs of a certain type at a certain age, it can shed light on which parts typically break first. It can also shed light on the maintenance regime locally and whether or not the part can be obtained and repaired in low resource settings. It's available for free download at that link at our atcatalyst.org website. Here is the questionnaire. This one, unlike the other ones, is only about the wheelchair. It's just asking if a wheelchair is broken. And in this case, you can actually do it for wheelchairs that are in storage as well. You can see the questions at the top of the header here, which asks for some information, can be modified based on your own purposes. For example, if you had a study where you had another factor you wanted to use in your 2 or 3-way ANOVA, you could put that at the header if you wanted to. These are the factors we collected. We wanted to know the wheelchair type because we were giving feedback to manufacturers, which particular wheelchair it was, how many months it was in use, and here's the date, the location, assessor's name, and certifications. But you could add other things there as well. You could compare one maintenance regime to another at 2 locations or something like that as well. Here's the instructions. Indicate the current maintenance condition of the wheelchair by placing a vertical mark on the line, indicating your rating. Do not circle the emoticon faces. They are only for reference and placing your mark. The visual analog scale is intended to provide continuous data, so please mark anywhere along the line. Include at least one full sentence on the comment line that specifically describes the reason behind your rating. If there is evidence of past repair or replacement, describe it in your comment. Now, the example we gave here, because we didn't want to lead people, was completely something different. And with the example, it's a shoe. So here's the example of how to do it. Rate the left shoe, and they've given it a rating that's quite low. They're not super happy about it. And the comment is, the tread has been worn smooth. It's starting to come loose in spots and it's been glued. Okay, so that's kind of an example of how to do it. And then it goes through the parts of the chair, only they're not listing every part. We tried to do that at first, and we realized we never got complete data sets, so we decided to make it user-centric. So it says, rate the seat, include the cushions and other parts supporting the hips, buttocks, and thighs. So this could be answered for a wheelchair that has a sling seat, or a wheelchair that has a cushion and hip supports, and even an adductor. And the comment would say what the problem is. Rate the seat back, include the cushions and other parts supporting the back, trunk, and head. And again, here you could have a simple back, or a very low back for someone with an active upper body, or you can have a back that is got trunk supports and a head support and so on, and you can answer it for those chairs. Rate the foot supports, front rigging and other parts that support the foot and lower legs, the frame, the structure holding the seat and back. Notice we've made the language very general, so if you're in a country where frame isn't an obvious word, we described what it was. The casters, the smaller front wheels and their attachments. So this is the casters and bearings. This can be applied to a wheelchair with 1 caster, a 3-wheel chair, or 2 casters. Rate the main wheels and push rims. Rate the wheel locks and brakes and the wheelchair overall. Here's an example of scores from one wheelchair after 12 months of use. And as you can see, we've just stuck the numbers into Excel and generated the graph. So it's a visual. And here you can see that this wheelchair obviously isn't in great condition, but you don't exactly know why. And here's the comments. And this particular wheelchair was a Wheelchairs for Kids. It's kind of made like the Motivation rough terrain chair with 3 wheels, but it has some laterals and supports. And we did a group of those chairs. And the seat cushion is bottoming out and cracked. This is just one chair, so you can't make a statement for all Wheelchairs for Kids from this one chair. And we see that there's exposed metal on the lateral supports, the trunk supports, the foot plates are loose. Their frame, there's no grips on the push handles, but the frame is intact. The caster stem is loose and the wheel has cracks. The big wheels, the right wheel wobbles and it's missing the left wheel lock. It needs repair. So we just found out something about this particular wheelchair. This could provide evidence that this child needs extensive repairs or a new wheelchair. But used in a larger group, it can provide meaningful feedback to the manufacturers of the wheelchairs for kids. And here is a set of just 5. We actually did it with more than that, but it got visually noisy, so I wanted to show you this. And as you can see, not all the wheelchairs are the same, but you begin to see a pattern. And under back, we saw repeated comments that the padding had come off the trunk support, so they were just like metal blades. And we were able to give that feedback to Wheelchairs for Kids, and they improved that. Caster, you can see that the ratings are low, and the comments indicated that very often the caster bearings were going very early in the lifespan of the wheelchair, and they also responded to that. This is a larger study. This is data from Free Wheelchair Mission Generation 2 chairs in a paper that's published. You can find this on our website. There's the reference. And you can see that they had difficulty with the foot plates between 3 and 15 months. It dropped drastically, and it was actually the attachments were coming loose. And we were able to provide that feedback to them in counted comments, and then they were able to respond to it. And they did so. This is just showing how a table can look with counted comments in ANOVA. For those of you who are academics, you can look at it more closely and interact with me about how to analyze data if you like. Here are 4 papers using the Wheelchair Components Questionnaire. We validated it for content and construct validity, test-retest reliability, and inter-rater reliability. So it's been used in the field and validated. It's also being translated into Spanish using proper guidelines for translation, and is available in Spanish as well on our website.